Yeah, if you look at the automotive industry in the United States, historically in the last couple of years, they've spent 90% of their budget outside of digital. And now you've seen Ford spends over 25% of their marketing budget on digital. And a lot of that's within social media. I honestly do think traditional advertising is not going to go away. It's just going to be minimized to where that mix could be, and I see it within 4 years, that 80% of all marketing is social media related, meaning it's this world of mouth. It's more of a compliment, but you can reduce the amount that you're going to spend on your traditional advertising, so it's not just an additive layer. It does play within the marketing mix for small businesses, but it's going to be a large part of their mix for the small businesses. If you only had the choice to do one, he has to do social media. The reason that is because if people say I don't have time to do social media, especially small businesses, that's the exact same thing as saying I don't have time to listen to my customer. Yeah, what I've learned is that one, you got to just use a couple of the tools. So you don't try to use all of the tools. Find out what tools work best for you. So I just hyper-focus on Twitter and also on YouTube to sell the books. And I've been able to sell over $500,000 worth of books. Then have it translated to 7 different countries. That wouldn't have been possible without social media. There's people from Japan that reach out to me and say, we want to translate it into Japanese, Chinese, Korean. So I'm getting pinged directly on Twitter. I use YouTube, one to develop a 3-minute video that cost me $150. It's been the most watched social media video in the world. And that has drove a ton of book sales. It's driven a lot of keynotes that I get assigned to, so I can make a lot of money on speaking around the world and stuff. That's really how I've been able to do it. So any small business can do it. It does take a lot of work. But my advice to anyone is, if you have passion and common sense, you're going to succeed within social media. And so it's really about fail forward, fail fast, fail better. The only way to increase your rate of learning is to increase your rate of failure. And so that means you're not going to overinvest in any one thing. So you have to quickly get in there and move quickly. And we really don't have a choice on whether we do social media. The choice is how well we do it.
Companies can now identify people who are blogging about particular topics, twittering about particular topics, posting particular topics in your Facebook updates. And this information is now being organized, aggregated, and distributed for use by marketers so that they can target you more effectively with their advertising. Behavioral targeting. A lot of people in media consider behavioral targeting to be the single most important revenue growth opportunity for the future.
Early mid-90s, it was throwing spaghetti against the wall. So people were just trying to get eyeballs, showing any ad to anybody who went anywhere. There wasn't a whole lot of intelligence behind it. And people started measuring things, started measuring click-throughs. You know, what ads are people clicking on? What are the click-through rates? And that sort of evolved into something called conversions, which is the person you're advertising to doing the thing you wanted them to do. Did they buy your product? Did they sign up for your newsletter? Whatever it may be. And then that sort of, the next evolution of intelligence behind that was called behavioral targeting, which was very high level. These social media websites like Blink, user-generated content where the website itself has no defined vertical. I mean, you're not necessarily going to a Blink specifically because it's about cars.
Many of us reveal on Facebook what the KGB wouldn't even have gotten out of us under torture.
We have obviously massive amounts of data coming in, and in order for people to make useful decisions from it, we need to filter it down, identify trends, identify what that person likes, what that person doesn't like, and then supply it to them so they can make an educated decision based on that.
Really helping advertisers target more effectively inside of this evolving landscape called user-generated content by really giving them the data they need to look at ad response and new metrics of purchasing socialized social media and user-generated content and Web 2.0 inventory in a new and dynamic way, and all the time arming them the data to make them smarter as their media plan.